Consciousness is creation, and perception, well, it's participation. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack a truly profound concept, the field of sovereignty. We're diving right into what it actually means to shift from just being a victim of your circumstances to becoming an active, conscious creator of your reality. The core premise we're exploring today is as simple as it is radical. There is absolutely no neutral stance in the Song of Life. So if you've ever felt like you're just getting swept along by the currents of life, this explainer is going to completely flip that perspective for you.
And that brings us to a massive philosophical question. Are we at the mercy of the universe, or are we its creators? I mean, humanity has wrestled with this for millennia, right? Are we just idle participants, tiny specks getting knocked around in a cold, indifferent cosmos? Or are we active weavers of reality itself? The source material we're looking at today argues incredibly strongly for the latter. It tells us that every being, every thought, and every single pulse of intention weaves itself directly into the fabric of reality.
Section 1. The illusion of victimhood, waking from the long human sleep.
For thousands of years, we've kind of fostered the greatest illusion as a species, this pervasive belief that we're adrift. It's the assumption that we're entirely at the mercy of outside forces, just waiting for the universe to decide our fate and letting things happen to us. This is the passive victim mindset. But waking up to the true nature of this shared field of reality means stepping right out of that illusion. True sovereignty requires shifting to a creator mindset, which is a state of active, responsive sovereignty. Now, to be clear, shifting from victim to creator isn't about denying that suffering exists. Instead, it's the profound recognition that the field around us is intelligent, it's alive, and it's highly responsive. As a creator, you're actively shaping and molding this field through the frequencies you emit with every single breath, thought, and feeling.
Moving on to Section 2, Biology Beyond the Blueprint, Bruce Lipton's Foundations. Okay, so how does this actually work on a physical level? We aren't just talking about abstract philosophy here. There's a real biological foundation for this. Pioneering studies by Bruce Lipton showed something literally staggering. He found that you can take genetically identical stem cells, drop them into completely different environments, and they'll develop into entirely different tissues, like muscle, bone, or fat. This completely proves that our cells aren't just passive little machines blindly running pre-written genetic scripts. Instead, they're constantly reading and responding to their energetic environments. They continuously adjust your gene expression based on the signals they receive. And here's the absolute game changer. These signals don't just come from your biochemical landscape. They come from the electromagnetic fields generated by your emotions, your beliefs, and your conscious focus. Your cells are literally listening to your thoughts.
Which brings us to a seriously beautiful term, vibrational stewardship. Conscious creation is not just toxic positivity, and it's not just wishing your problems away. It's the disciplined art of moment by moment tending to your thought, emotion, breath, and action. You're taking responsibility for aligning your internal state with the highest possibilities encoded within the field. Think of it like tending a complex living garden. It takes daily intentional care, pulling the weeds of doubt and nurturing the soil, just to make sure you're broadcasting the exact right signals for growth.
Section 3, Choosing Your Frequency, the music of the mind and heart.
At the heart of all this conscious creation is a quiet, sovereign choice, because every emotional choice has huge biological implications. When you sit in dissonant frequencies like fear, resentment, or hopelessness, you're broadcasting chaotic signals into your field. You're actually instructing your cells and tissues to lock into patterns of defense, contraction, and stagnation. But hey, the exact opposite is true too. When you anchor yourself in gratitude, love, and joy, you generate coherent fields. These fields tell your biology to flourish, to heal, and to reorganize according to higher patterns of vitality. Your choice of frequency literally dictates your biological reality.
It really all comes down to this profound truth from the text. The body does not act solely according to chemical cause and effect. It dances according to the music broadcast by the mind and the heart. It's a gorgeous, poetic metaphor, but it represents literal biological reality. Your body is quite literally dancing to the song your thoughts and feelings are singing. So, if healing is what you're after, it starts the exact second you stop waiting for a cure from the outside and start changing the music from the inside.
Section 4. Practices for daily alignment, generating salvation from within. So how do we practically change our music? The source material tells us that healing begins the moment we reclaim our authorship, And we can do that through 4 daily practices. First up, breathwork. This centers and grounds your field into coherent, steady rhythms. Second is visualization. Now, this isn't just daydreaming, it's actively mentally rehearsing and stabilizing higher vibrational realities before they physically crystallize into form. Third, affirmations. But notice, these are crafted not as forceful demands, but as offerings to the field, declaring your vibrational sovereignty. And finally, the 4th step, emotional mastery. Now, this 4th step requires some real guts, because emotional mastery is about transmutation, not suppression. It definitely doesn't mean forcing a smile when you're devastated or ignoring sorrow or anger. This work demands the bravery to feel those things fully. True emotional mastery is honoring those difficult feelings, experiencing them, and then actively singing them upward into new frequencies of clarity and strength. You aren't just burying your anger, you're transmuting it into fuel for a new coherent frequency. It takes immense vigilance to choose love when fear is the easier route. Section 5, Sculpting the Shared Reality, the Quantum Collective Ripple. Now, you might be thinking this is all a very individual internal process, and it is. But when you do this internal work, you establish a new coherence within your personal field, and fields interact. Your coherence actually entrains the people around you, pulling them into a more stable rhythm. By changing your frequency, you collapse new possibilities into realities that would have otherwise remained totally inaccessible. You seed new templates of potential for all beings. This is exactly why healing yourself is never a selfish act. You are quite literally changing the architecture of the shared collective field. You really have to internalize this absolute core truth. You are not at the mercy of your DNA. You are not bound by biological blueprints that dictate you have to suffer or stagnate just because of what you inherited. Your cells are listening to you, right now. You are not a helpless passenger pulled down by the gravity of your past wounds. You are absolutely not just a passenger on a blind machine spinning through empty space. That is the old illusion of victimhood. The undeniable truth of your existence is this: you are a creator, a sovereign, luminous sculptor of fields, and a weaver of new realities. With every breath you take in awareness, with every thought you lift into coherence, you're participating consciously in the great sacred work of healing the entire symphony of life. The shift has already begun. And so I want to leave you with one final provocative question to consider today. Will you choose to make your next breath sacred? It's a moment-by-moment choice. You have the power to step out of the illusion, to tune your frequency, and to consciously participate in shaping the universe. The power is literally in your next breath. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start experimenting with your own vibrational stewardship today.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, Quantum Healing Codes: Unlock the New Science of Self-Rejuvenation. This isn't theory, it's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.